beauty of New Year is the entire world comes together. Collective energy is very high. The collective vibration is very high.
A Forbes article says that 80% of resolutions that are made in the new year get dropped off by Feb. How does one make resolutions?
In the process of creating new vision for yourself, it's extremely important for you to understand there is nothing called positive or negative. It is the meaning that we give to it. The very fact that you're not there and you're here right now means this is the best path for you. We don't manifest what we want. We only manifest what we normalize. It's a great tool for you to normalize what you want in your life for it to happen in your life. Both fear and faith requires for you to believe in something that you don't know. The vision has been given to you for a purpose. Vision exists in the pure potentiality of the quantum field.
Path of thinking negatively about a particular situation. Is it reversible?
It is definitely reversible. So what most people misunderstand with respect to negative thinking is constantly seeking a positive experience is a negative experience. And accepting and surrendering to a negative experience is a positive experience.
That's beautiful.
They place their sense of self-worth and they place a sense of importance on an external goal compared to who they are. The universe is going to be like, wait, you feel you're worthy of it with it or without it first. Then I'll give that to you. The more you would have wanted something, you wouldn't get it. Because any form of procrastination, it is a result of a subconscious belief. Once you fix you will never procrastinate. The body does not retain any excess fat or weight without a purpose. And when you...
Are there any specific affirmations that you would recommend people for the new year? What can people do as actionable steps to attract that love?
Everybody needs to understand attracting money is one of the easiest things to do. When you naturally attract opportunities into your life which will make money for you. The misconception that is there in the world right now is, if I want money, I will get money. No, if you want money,
Welcome back to Realign, Gayathri. It's already so lovely to be chatting with you before our conversation has even begun.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, and we're here at a very opportune time because the new year is around the corner, and when people watch this, it will already be the new year. And it's that time, right, where everybody starts talking about reflecting and letting go and setting new intentions and manifesting. And very honestly, everybody talks about it, but very few people really break down the pathway towards it.
Right.
Which is what we hope to do with you, because you explain things so well, you boil it down. So let's start with that, right? The first step to what a lot of people say at the end of the new year you should do, or it's something that most people try to do, is reflect.
Yes.
Now, while that seems like a very good term in terms of what one must do, it comes with certain inhibitions, right? Like when I'm reflecting on my year, it can also cause a little bit of an upset, or it can cause you to regret certain things. It can bring about negativity into the process of reflection. How do you tackle reflection, and how can our viewers take that first step towards reflecting positively?
Right. So first of all, what I would like to say is, in the process of creating new vision for yourself, it's extremely important for you to understand what has happened to you in your life at this point of time. And also essentially understand, in life, there is nothing called positive or negative. Every circumstance in life has no inbuilt meaning. It is the meaning that we give to it. And every time you feel like, I wish I could have been there, I wish I should have done that, just tell yourself, if you were supposed to be there, you would have already been there. The very fact that you're not there and you're here right now means this is the best path for your soul's evolution. This is the best path for your growth. So whatever has happened to you in the last 1 year or the last 5 years, you've been repeating the same patterns again and again, and things are not working out for you. It's a message from the universe saying something inside of you needs to shift.
Correct.
Because the external reality, if you don't like what you're seeing in your external reality, it's a reflection of what's going on the inside. So instead of blaming at the reflection, sit down and ask yourself, what are the things that you've been repeating again and again? What are the things that you've been running away from yourself, especially when it comes to sitting with yourself in discomfort. When you sit down and make a list of all of these things, you'll also feel so empowered because these are the things that you created in your life. Consciously or unconsciously, we may not know. But these are the things that you created in your life. But now that you understand you have the power to create the beautiful life that you want, you can create whatever you want. So when you sit down for reflection, instead of looking at it from a space of overwhelm, or instead of looking at it from a space of, oh, things did not work out for me the way I wanted it to work out, ask yourself, what kind of a life do you want to create in the upcoming year? Because every day is a new day for us. But the beauty of New Year is the entire world comes together and the energy is, okay, we're going to start off with something new.
Yeah.
There's going to be a new beginning. Let's get started with this. So collective energy is very high. The collective vibration is very high. That's why I say the last 1 week before the new year begins, sit down with yourself so that you can get started with your vision board.
Yeah.
Because the power of a vision board, I don't think a lot of people understand. Because every time when there is a vision board in your room or your phone or everywhere, in my phone I have my vision board.
Yeah.
So when you look at your vision board, basically what it does is it normalizes what you want in your subconscious mind. Because we don't manifest what we want. We only manifest what we normalize. So until your subconscious believes this is possible for me, it won't happen. So vision board is a great tool for you to normalize what you want in your life, for it to happen in your life.
Okay. But a lot of people, like you said, right, are confused or don't really truly understand the potential of vision boarding.
Yes.
What is your best method of doing it?
Okay.
And how can they sit down right now and begin making their personalized vision board?
Perfect. I'll tell you mine. Because every year, the last 1 week, I sit with my husband to do it. The last 2 years, I've been doing it with him. Before that, I would do it myself. So basically, sit down with yourself and categorize your life into 5 areas: your health, wealth, relationship, career, and your spiritual goals. Ask yourself, what is that you truly want? When you ask yourself what is that you truly want, there are 2 kinds of desires that come up. One desire is something that stems from a space of your ego, which is going to fill a void. Oh, if I become this 55 kilos, if I become so fit, then everybody around me will praise me.
It's a surface level.
It's a very superficial goal. But then there is a second kind of a purpose-driven goal that comes that says, I want to accomplish this because there is a drive inside of you. Sit down and write your goals on day 1. Day 2, sit down and reflect on those goals and ask yourself if it is coming from a space of your ego or coming from a space of your purpose. So once you've identified what all goals come from a space of your purpose, what I do is I sit down and meditate on those goals. That is, I visualize, I sit down, I meditate to understand if that is truly giving me the sense of fulfillment that I want to achieve in my life. If the answer is a yes, then the next day, go on Pinterest, go on Google, anywhere, pick out images that feels like that resonates with you. Okay, my goal of being fit, okay, this resonates with me. Pick out those images, put it on a collage, then create a chart paper or a chalkboard paper, anything, stick it up, put a lot of affirmations on it. The kind of words that I put on my vision board, especially the last year one, are words like consistency, articulate, because my profession requires for me to be extremely good articulator. So articulate, and I also have an image of money growing on trees because that is what I want to believe. When people say money does not grow on trees, in my reality, money does grow on trees.
And money comes easily. And
money
it's
comes,
effortless.
it just flows into my life. So every time I think about money, I feel like a waterfall of money just flowing into my life. And that is what my reality will start reflecting. Put it up there every morning. If you don't have privacy, just put it on your phone. Every time, open your phone, see the screensaver. You're looking at all of the images again and again. What it essentially does is, it makes your subconscious believe what is possible for you. So for example, let's say you're making 2 lakhs per month. You want to make 10 lakhs per month. It becomes very delusional for the external world who want to think rationally. But I believe being delusional will make you manifest a lot of things. But the one challenge with being delusional is most people are just delusional because of wishful thinking. They don't take inspired action. So when they take inspired action and they're delusional, they can manifest anything that they want, irrespective of what background they come from.
I just posted a reel saying manifestation versus delusion, and the fine line, according to me, is action. Like, you can't just sit there and say, I'm going to be XYZ, and not really take the inspired action or take the necessary steps to get there.
Because I believe taking action is the highest form of commitment. Because when you ask the universe for something, let's say on day 0, you ask the universe for something. The minute you ask the universe for something, it is orchestrating people, circumstances, situations to give you what you asked for. Now, let's say you've asked the universe, you've started a business, you've asked the universe saying, I want $1 million funding.
Yeah.
There is a thought in the mind of an investor who wants to invest in a company like you the minute you set that intention. Now you have to put in that work, move your ass and go start working for you to find that investor.
Yeah.
You can't sit here and think, oh, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to visualize, it's going to fall on my lap. No, it won't.
Yeah, 100%. So when you talk about your vision board and your journey, it's very interesting because like we were chatting in our previous conversation as well, is that there are certain things that have just happened, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, the problem is, will subscribe that to coincidence and say that, oh, it just happened.
Yeah.
But the people who know. So walk me through a little bit, if you can share like 1 or 2 examples that have maybe worked out for you, or one of your many thousands of students that you teach in your workshops, that truly left you, believing, because the best way for people to learn is through the experience of others.
Yeah.
So give me a couple of examples.
Okay. So I do something called goal journaling.
Okay.
As a part of a manifestation process. This is something I teach my students also. So what happens is every morning you write down 2 pages of your goals. So I still remember I started my Instagram journey last year, November 18th. So I reflected back on my goal journal from September of last year. Even before my Instagram journey started, I'd written down every single day saying, I have 1 million followers on Instagram. I appear on multiple podcasts where we're giving so much information, people's lives are changing. I make X amount of money, the money that I told you. I make X amount of money every month. All of that, even before I could see it. So that is why I say the conviction. See, both fear and faith requires for you to believe in something that you don't know.
Yeah.
But the choice is yours. Which one do you want to believe in? Do you want to have faith in the future, or do you want to be scared of what if things could go wrong?
Correct.
Because if you have a vision, I always believe in this very strongly. If you have a vision, the vision has been given to you for a purpose. The vision has been given to you so that the vision can manifest through you in this world. And the very fact that you're able to see that vision in your mind means that vision exists in the pure potentiality of the quantum field.
Exactly.
The more you observe that, the more you resonate with that, the more you become a vibrational match to that, it becomes a part of your reality. That's it.
Yeah. But when you talk about faith and fear, it's like you said, 2 sides of the same coin. It's what you want to pour the fuel into.
Yes.
But what happens is, now say that people have been on a path of thinking negatively about a particular situation. Is it reversible, or has that energy already been deployed and, I've already been thinking of a certain way, will that reality kind of manifest in my life?
So one, it is definitely reversible. So what most people misunderstand with respect to negative thinking is, I see a lot of comments on my post, on your podcast also, where people ask, how do I overcome negative thinking?
Yeah.
How do I overcome negative thoughts? First of all, let's understand, we can never overcome negative thoughts. Think about a pond. The pond has a lot of dirty water in it. And every day you fetch some water and you go home and you clean the water. No matter how many times you try to change the water in the pond, it's not going to change because the pond is dirty. Instead of trying to clean the water after the water has been drawn from the pond, how about you put some effort and clean the pond once and for all, so that every time you fetch the water from there,
It's already clean.
So the pond is nothing but your subconscious mind and your belief system. If you have belief systems that are negative, for example, I think last week a friend of mine told me, Gayathri, I saw somebody in my life manifest what I wanted to manifest. Instead of feeling happy for them, I felt jealous, and I felt bad for feeling jealous. So now you need to understand, jealousy is an emotion. Feeling happy is an emotion. Both are emotions that you're feeling. If happiness is trying to help you understand something about yourself, jealousy is equally trying to help you understand something about yourself. If you look at somebody in your reality who's accomplished what you want to accomplish and you feel jealous about it, it's a feedback for you. It means you're operating from a scarcity mindset. So my mind is saying, if I want $10 million, somebody is manifested like $1 million. So your mind is like, oh my God, if that person takes it, then part of my pie is also taken away.
Correct.
No, the universe is abundant. So when you have negative thoughts, instead of trying to suppress them, instead of trying to run away from them, sit down and ask yourself, what could possibly be the belief behind this negative thought that is making me think like this? The minute you become aware of why you're thinking a specific way, you've already crossed the bridge halfway through. Then you just have to go within and start rewiring your subconscious beliefs. Once you rewire that, the fruits that come out of the tree are only a result of the roots. So you can't blame the fruits. The fruits are a result of the roots. Now go and change the roots so that your life will start to change.
Okay. So when you get into this feeling and you start reflecting, right, what are, say, 2 or 3 things that people can do in an actionable way to put themselves on a higher frequency, or not entertain? Because like you said, right, like negative thoughts or certain thoughts that are low frequency will occur to you because it's not possible to constantly be in a positive mind frame. What are 2 or 3 things that people can do in an actionable way to not give energy to them, to let them just pass?
There are 2 things that you can do. The first one is sit with the discomfort without seeking for a distraction. Because every time you feel an uncomfortable sensation in your body, that's why I think even Vipassana talks about this, where they say you don't react to the person or you don't react to the circumstances, you react to the sensations in your body as a result of the circumstances. So now you need to understand why I have certain uncomfortable sensations in my body. That is a result of your perception about the situation and your resistance for the situation. Let's say something is happening to me in my life. I don't want it. I am not letting it flow through my life. The more you push it, the more discomfort starts to kick in inside your body. But instead of pushing it, how about just dissolving in it, whatever emotion that is? You dissolve in that and you let the emotion flow through your body to only realize there's this beautiful quote that says, constantly seeking a positive experience is a negative experience. And accepting and surrendering to a negative experience is a positive experience.
That's beautiful.
And this talks about resistance towards situations. The reason why we resist a specific situation is because we believe this situation is not the best for us. What makes us believe that this situation that we are in right now is the best for us? Because if you take a look at all of our lives, the worst things that could have probably happened for all of us was probably the best teacher for us. Because the maximum growth only happens in challenge. If we are only supported throughout, we become juvenile in the process. We become very dependent on other things. There needs to be a lot of adversity in our life on an everyday basis for us to evolve. Without adversity, it's not possible. So it's again a mindset. So our mindset is going to be our biggest asset throughout. Our mindset and our focus. Where we want to focus and where we want to consume content, where we want to put our mind to, is going to be a biggest asset. Once we know how to tackle these 2, I think we become aligned to who we truly are.
And the second one?
The second one is do a practice called tagging thoughts. So what you do is, so for example, let's say suddenly I have a thought that is a negative thought, which is jealousy. So the reason why I feel the emotions of jealousy is because there is a thought that emerges and I get consumed in the thought and I believe I'm the thought. Instead of doing that, when a thought emerges, instead of getting consumed in it, you create a space in between. How do you create a space? This is a jealousy thought. This is an insecure thought. The minute you tag the thought, you don't become the thought. The thought becomes a third entity.
Like, okay, this is a thought that's causing fear in me.
Exactly. So I am not fear. I am feeling emotions of fear. So you're detaching yourself from the emotions of fear so you can operate much more rationally in that position.
Okay, understood. Amazing. So when you move to the next steps, right, which is more often than not, people make resolutions. A Forbes article says that 80% of resolutions that are made in the new year get dropped off by Feb.
That's true.
And that happens across all genres.
That's
we'll go through each specification one by one. But how does one make resolutions? And are there any ways to make them that you feel so good about them that there's no way you can't keep up with them consistently?
So first, let's understand the importance of goals. In the process of making resolutions, let's understand the importance of goals. I think there was a study done in Harvard, which was a 40-year study, where they took a sample size of 100 people in a room, and they asked all the 100 people, how many of you have goals? Everybody put their hands up and they said, all of us have goals. Then they asked them, how many of you have written down goals? Just 4 people raised their hands up. 96 did not. They tracked down all these 100 people after 40 years to see that the 4% of the room that put their hands up collectively had more success, more abundance, and more of everything that they wanted compared to the collective 96%. So writing down your goals has such a huge impact on your life because we have something called the reticular activation system, RAS. So basically, for example, let's say Gayathri believes she's an unlucky person and Karishma believes she's a lucky person. So there are 100 things that are happening to Gayathri in her life, out of which 50 are working out in her favor and 50 are not working out in her favor. The reason why she believes that she's an unlucky person, her brain filters out the 50 that are working out in her favor and puts it aside and only focuses on the 50 that is not working in her favor to reaffirm the belief that she's an unlucky person. On the contrary, in Karishma's case, she's going to look at the 50 things that are going to work out in her favor and say, look, I knew I was lucky.
Yeah.
So this is exactly what happens when it comes to goals also. When you write down your goals every single day, when you're constantly looking at them, you're giving signals to your brain saying, hey, listen, this is the task you have to accomplish. So the brain is constantly scanning the environment for opportunities, people, and everything to make sure it fulfills that goal for you.
So you have to write down all your goals every single day?
So for me, I have a bunch of goals that I want to accomplish.
Yeah.
One is short term, one is long term.
Correct.
Every morning after the meditation, I open my goals journal, I just flow. So 70% of the goals will be same as the previous day, but there could be 1 or 2 new things that will start to flow. When you keep writing them, you're affirming to yourself saying, this is what my reality is like. Nothing else I'm going to be okay with. Because when you have a vision and you settle for something less, you're constantly going to have that voice at the back of your mind saying, no, you meant for something big, you meant for something big. But these goals will keep you on track of what you're destined to do.
Okay. So for those watching, right, say that they're building on their New Year's resolutions. How does New Year's resolutions versus goal setting intersect with each other? Because resolutions can be something as simple as I want to go to the gym 5 times a week, every week.
Right.
But a goal can be something entirely different. So how do you kind of differentiate that, and then how do you translate that into, say, consistently writing about it every single day?
So when it comes to resolution, first of all, ask yourself, is this truly what you want, or is this something that you want because you put someone else on a pedestal and they want this? Because when I don't set my goals, I think even in the last session the last podcast I was talking to you about how health was not one of my top priorities for me. Because health was not one of my top priorities for me, every time I set out a goal saying I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to become fit, it never happened after a point of time. Reason being, we do things naturally with an internal drive that are a top priority for us.
Correct.
So identify what your top priority is first of all. For me, I clearly know what my top priorities are. Now, because health was not a part of my top priority, until I bring it to my top priority and I create a self-identity around it. For example, if Gayathri does not believe she's a fit and an agile person, she will never become fit. She'll always going to be hefty. She's always going to binge on things that she shouldn't be binging on. How do I bring a low priority goal to a high priority value? There is something called value stacking. Value stacking means when Gayathri becomes fit, how is that adding advantage to her already existing top priority goals? So when I become fit, I can stand in a seminar for 8 hours to 10 hours to speak. So that adds
it helps your top priority.
Absolutely. When I become fit, so building a family is one of my top priorities. When I become fit, I can have a great child. I can have a healthy child. When I connect this, now I don't need willpower because willpower gets exhausted in a day. So I don't need willpower. There's an internal drive because my why is clear. Ask yourself what your true why is. Stop getting consumed by what everybody else wants.
Okay. So now what if there is a priority of being holistic, right? Like now, for example, for me, work is extremely important, relationships are extremely important, but I'm also very into health and very into fitness. and I would like to amp that up in the
Yes.
coming year.
Yes.
All are a priority for me.
Yes.
So how does that work when I'm setting my New Year's resolution in terms of, is there a blueprint, right, of how to do it right? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm asking this from a viewer perspective, but there's something that I do, right?
Yes.
So every 31st, I have a box, and I just, as you said, like, think back to the year in a very positive, overarching way, right? Like, we were just sitting together at Humans of Bombay and said, we did so much this year. There's a lot that we accomplished. And when you truly look back, you realize that, okay, it's actually pretty sizable in terms of everything that you've built. And then I opened the chits that I'd written from the previous year of my New Year's resolution, and I opened them up and see what I thought or envisioned for the year and what actually manifested. And it's crazy that almost, like, I would say, like 99%, like 95 to 99% is just there, and I've completely forgotten about it, actually. And then I sit and think about what is it that I truly want in a holistic way for my life, not just one particular aspect. And then begin that process of, again, writing down what is it that I very specifically want. And then I shut out that box and don't look at it, because it's my New Year box. And then I put in the work every single day, and then do the other things, right? Like journaling or meditating. But I don't specifically remember exactly what I did, but it's crazy that down to the specific details, it sometimes
it's
manifests.
manifested. See, you've done a process very unconsciously, but which is the right thing to do. There are two things here. The first one is you've detached yourself from the outcome. Until you detach yourself, especially while writing down your goals or creating resolutions, you need to understand, why do we want a specific goal to manifest in our life? A goal will make us, we believe a goal will make us feel a specific feeling. So why do we want a lot of money? Because it gives us a lot of freedom. Why do we want great health? Because it gives us a lot of joy to do the things that we want. So it is not the goal that we are chasing. It is a specific emotion that we are chasing.
That's the outcome.
That is the outcome. Correct. So we want the outcome. That is the crux of it. Once you understand what is that emotion that you're longing for, what is that emotion that you're chasing, write down all those emotions. It could be feeling loved. It could be feeling abundant, feelings of freedom, feelings of power. It can be anything. Once you write down these emotions, you will start to realize that nothing on the outside can ever make you feel a specific way which you don't feel about yourself already. If you feel insecure on the inside, you're constantly going to attract people in your life who will make you feel insecure. If you feel love and abundance on the inside, you'll constantly attract people who will reflect that back to you. So now you know what these emotions are. Now you're not going to be dependent on an outside goal to give you these emotions. When you start feeling these emotions already inside of you, then the universe will send you all these external things that you thought will give you these emotions to kind of reflect back to you what you're actually feeling at this point of time. This is number one. The second thing is the importance of detachment. Most people are extremely obsessed about how the goal is going to get manifested, and I want it right now. Because they place their sense of self-worth and they place a sense of importance on an external goal compared to who they are. The more they do that, the more the universe is going to push the goal. The universe is going to be like, wait, you feel you're worthy of it with it or without it first. Then I'll give that to you. That is why I say never put any goal. It can even be you making $1 million. You can become a billionaire. Never put that on a pedestal. Tell yourself, whatever I'm seeking is also seeking me. Which means the very fact that I have the thought of a goal means the energy of the goal also wants me. So there is no question of deservability here. The very thought that I have, the feeling that I want that goal means that goal also wants me. Now it's my job to put in that work to become a vibrational match to that particular goal so that both of us align and it is a part of my life. And I think you would have experienced this a lot, and a lot of our viewers also would have experienced. The more you would have wanted something, you wouldn't get it. And the minute you drop it and you go about your life and do the things that truly matter to you, all of a sudden whatever you wanted would naturally gravitate into your life. And at that point of time, it won't even feel like, oh my God, I got this. No, it would just feel like, yeah, Okay,
It's
I'm happy.
yeah.
Because you've normalized your energy with that. The same thing with relationships. You would see a lot of people obsess about relationships. The person may not even reciprocate. But the minute you drop the importance that you give to that relationship and the person and give the importance to you and start working on yourself, you'll start to see how the person comes back into your life again.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the role of forgiveness in all of this?
Okay. I'm going to talk to you from my experience. I think my life drastically changed over the last 2 years after I actually started forgiving my parents. Because what I was holding on to was the story in my mind of what they should have done in comparison to what they did.
Correct.
So, what they should have done essentially came from a place where I was comparing everybody else's life to my life.
Like they got this during their formative years or their childhood, the opportunities or the love or the, absolutely.
That came from my limited awareness because I believed what I got was not the best for me.
Yeah.
The minute I understood what I got was actually the best for me, my parents were doing everything in their capacity to give me what they knew to give me, and I dropped that resentment I was holding on to them. There was a different rush of emotions inside of me, number one, and I think that helped me get back into alignment even more, and my external reality started shifting.
But that's so difficult to do, right? Like in just in terms of okay, when you talk about a subject as heavy as forgiveness, everybody wants to do it.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
But to actually do it, how do you get about that process in two ways, right? One is, like you said, with your parents. But a thing that a lot of people face is, how do I even forgive myself? Because you hold yourself to such high demands or high set of expectations, and when you don't meet them, you kind of start feeling that sense of regret, you know, that you did this, which is why you didn't get this opportunity, or this is why this happened. How do you forgive, truly forgive? Is there a exercise? Is there a meditation?
So when it comes to forgiveness, there are two things. One is the story that we want to tell ourselves again and again, because we get a sense of validation from the story that we tell ourselves, saying, I was wronged by this person, or I was wronged by this. The reason why for some people it's difficult to forgive is because if I forgive somebody, I have to let go of the story. If I let go of the story, where is my validation? Where is my identity coming from? It does not come. That is why a lot of people like to stay a victim throughout. That is number one. Second thing is, why do we want to forgive somebody? Let's understand that.
A release, right? You let go of certain energy and certain emotions that you've held on to for so long, so that you usher in the new.
Yes. So when you go to the crux of forgiveness, you will start to understand that in a moment, right? A person did something to me, and in that moment, I perceived, it is my perception, it is not what the person did. I perceived that through the actions of what that person did, there were way too many disadvantages compared to the advantages in my life. But when you go back to the situation and realize that the universe will never give you something that you can't handle, and the universe always gives you things, people, and circumstances to help you raise and evolve your consciousness, when that kind of a realization starts to come in, then you go to that point and you're actually grateful for the person for doing that. Gratitude and resentment cannot coexist. When you're truly grateful for a person for doing the things that they did, because if they did not do the things that they did, you wouldn't be where you are right now. And when you understand that the universe makes no mistakes, and there are no wrongdoings in the first place. I think Alan Watts gives a beautiful example for this. He talks about there are two people looking at something, okay? Or there is one person who's looking at something. When he's looking at something, there are two things that are constantly fighting with each other. When they're fighting with each other, this person's immediate intention is, why are they fighting? Let me stop them from fighting. And he kind of puts both of them away and he stops them from fighting, to only realize that a man dies. So basically what he was looking at is, he was looking at the white blood corpuscles fighting the disease, the bacteria in the body. So when they're fighting, when you look at it from the myopic view, they're fighting. But in the macro view, it had to happen for the man to live a healthy life.
Correct.
So ask yourself, In what view am I looking at my life with? Am I looking at my life with a small myopic view where my vision is very small and I'm only looking at things the way it is? Or am I going to expand my horizon so that I start to understand that everything and everyone that was put in my life was put in so that my soul can evolve, so that I can evolve in this world? I'll give you another example. I believe in this very strongly. We choose our families, we choose our parents, and we are incarnated here to learn a specific lesson. So, when you incarnated here, you decided what your start point was, you decided what your end point was. And you created multiple hurdles in between, because in level 10 of your life, in order for you to learn a lesson, which is, let's assume, metaphorically, you had to jump a big hurdle. In order for you to jump a big hurdle, your legs are not equipped for that. So before that, you created hurdle 2, 3, and 4, so that the first time you jumped one, it became strong. Second, stronger. Third, strongest, so that you were equipped to jump the level 10 hurdle. The same thing happens in life. People who create adversity in your life, people who you believe have wronged you, is all the universe's way of making you really, really strong.
It's training.
It's always training. If you did not go through the training, there was another research that was done in Arizona with a biosphere. A biosphere is more like an artificial earth that is created so that they are trying to experiment if we can live in other planets. So basically, they could recreate everything, vegetation, plantation, everything. And they recreated the trees also. So once they recreated the trees, they took the trees and planted them in the real world. The trees were of optimal health when they were in the biosphere, but when they came to the normal world, they died immediately. And the scientists were confused. What is even happening in this case? Then when they actually cut open the trees, every tree has inner rings inside of the concentric circles. They noticed that all the trees that grew in the biosphere had proper concentric rings inside of it. But the trees that just grew in the wild had very random rings in it. Because the trees that grew outside, in order for it to withstand wind, it created its own mechanism. The trees that did not face adversity could not live in a world with adversity. So any adversity that you're going through, or any challenge that you're going through, so now for me it has become more like a pattern. When I'm going through a challenge, though I feel like, oh my God, instantly the thought process is like, oh my God, this challenge is going to help me go to the next level and something is unlocking in my life. When that perspective shift starts to happen, one, there is no need to forgive anybody. Everybody did the best that they could at every point in time. And the second thing is, you view life from a completely different vision, as a result of which there is no resentment, there are no negative emotions in you in the first place.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense when you put it, when you just flip the narrative, basically.
That's it.
Right. So let's talk about, say that people are making their New Year's resolution and they're subscribing to everything that we've spoken about here in terms of how to kind of do it. How do they sustain it?
Okay. First one, to sustain anything, is for you to create a self-identity. If you have an identity of somebody who constantly says, I'm a procrastinator, but you want to become an action taker, you will use your willpower for 10-15 days in order for you to become an action taker. 11th day, you're going to let go of that. This is very, very common amongst people. And what we need to understand is, any form of procrastination or any form of an over-explaining that people give, all of this is not the actual problem, but it is a result of a subconscious belief. If, for example, let's say you grew up in a household where, because your parents had a lot of money, your parents were taken advantage of. You have the subconscious belief saying, oh, if I have a lot of money, then people will start taking advantage of me. So once you grow up, you don't even know you have this belief. Once you grow up, you have these amazing opportunities for you to make a lot of money. Every time the opportunity comes up, you'll procrastinate. And you'll constantly call yourself a procrastinator. The problem is not procrastination. The problem is, every action or every inaction that you do is actually serving a purpose. Now you've got to ask yourself, what purpose is it serving? Is it serving a purpose of my evolution, or is it serving a purpose of my limiting subconscious beliefs? In this case, now we identify I have a limiting subconscious belief. Once you fix that belief, you will never procrastinate when it comes to wealth.
Right. So you have to become aware of what the
exactly
belief is.
And for example, let's say you have a health goal. Now you've been, like, let's say, always on the heavier side, and you've been trying really hard. First, you need to ask yourself, the body does not retain any excess fat or weight without a purpose. The body does not. If I have been dealing with not health issues, weight issues for a very, very long time. For me, having extra weight in my body was an emotional attachment, because every time I would eat a lot. I would eat a lot more than what a normal person would eat, even after I was full. That was because every time I used to meet my father when I was young, it was only in restaurants. So food kind of gave me that emotional comfort, saying I have my dad with me.
Right.
So the body is still holding on to the trauma.
But how did you arrive at this connection?
It takes a lot of introspection.
Okay.
Because I've done pretty much every other fat diet that is there, that has been there, only to understand that the weight kept coming back. So there is this pattern that is constantly repeating over the last 15 years. If the pattern is constantly repeating, then there is a subconscious belief attached to it, and it is not just a superficial one. Once you sit down and understand, what is this weight serving me? When you sit down and meditate and ask yourself, what is the purpose of this excess weight? What is this weight actually serving me? When you sit down and ask yourself, you will derive at an emotion where this weight is connected to an emotional support for you. And when you give that emotional support for you, the weight has no purpose in your body, it will naturally start dissipating. And the beauty is, next time when you enroll to a gym, next time when you enroll to a healthy eating, you will stick to that, because you don't have to self-sabotage that.
Understood. So it's not more about the goal, it's about, or the willpower, it's understanding your association with it. Yeah.
And also understanding what is your identity. If you identify in your mind, if you constantly tell yourself, I'm a wealthy person, you will do actions that a wealthy person will do. You will immediately invest. You will start looking at multiple forms of investment rather than buying things that depreciate in value.
Correct.
But on the contrary, if you have the mindset of, oh, I'm a broke person, I can never make a lot of money, your actions, your behavior is driven by the beliefs that you have.
Yeah, it will resonate that.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay.
So the permanent solution is, in order for you to change your external world, that's why you find a lot of people, no matter they go on vacations, wherever they are, they work out, they eat right. Yeah. Because in their mind, that is who they are. I'm a fit person. I'm a healthy person. Once that becomes your identity, no matter where you are, that is what you will follow. But if you're trying to just change the external circumstances by working out and eating right, your willpower will get exhausted.
Correct. Yeah, in fact, I have sensed this shift in my life where, earlier I used to be like, if I'm in Bombay, I'll work out because it's easy, right? There's access. I live here. I have a set of people who can help me. And when I'm traveling, it's okay.
It's okay.
But I realize that I travel a lot, whether it's for work or whatever else. Like, travel is a very integral and
part of your life.
It is a part of my life, and it's inevitable. Like, it happens. And then I was not working out as much. But then I decided that no matter where I'm going, even if it's for one night, I'm going to have workout clothes in my bag, because I am that person. I don't want to be fit in a way that's conditional.
Exactly.
I want to be healthy. I am healthy and I am fit. So even things that I would, of course, I still have cheat days and I eat what I want to eat, which is very normal. But overall, the amount that I have subconsciously put into my health or into nutrition or understanding the body and nutrition is, like, I think up by 100% since last year.
Absolutely, because you're operating from that space of being a fit person. So you don't use your willpower to operate. A fit person will go to the gym. A fit person will eat clean. But on the contrary, if you don't do that shift in your mind and you want to eat clean, you want to work out, every day there's going to be a struggle.
And it's work. Right now, it's just like, oh,
that is who you are.
It's almost as natural as waking up and brushing your teeth, right? Like, this is just, I'm going with the motion of the day.
So if you really want consistent and long-term change, the only solution is an identity change on the inside.
Okay, amazing. So now, say there are people who are working with this emotion and thinking that this is how I kind of derive my resolutions. What's a good number to have? How can people kind of optimize for that? And then we'll get into practices at the next level. But at the high level, what is a good number to have so that you don't feel overwhelmed with the sense of, okay, I have to do, because most people make like 10 resolutions, right? And it's tough to keep up with one or two. You kind of understand that. But what's a good way to go about
So what I would recommend is, pick the top 3 things that you've never been able to achieve in the last 3 to 4 years. Because in the process of achieving that, you're breaking huge amount of resistance inside of you. And by breaking that huge amount of resistance, you start to build a lot of faith inside of you. See, overthinking is a result of you not trusting yourself. Because you've stopped trusting yourself because you've been telling yourself, I'll do this. You did not do any of that. You start overthinking. There's a negative loop that starts to kick in. So the best thing is pick the top 3 things that you truly wanted to accomplish for a very, very long time and go for it. Make it a point that in the next 3 months, the first 3 months, I'm going to dedicate my life to work on this. And tell yourself, if this is something I truly want and I cannot make time or energy or effort for this, then is it truly worth it for me?
Or do I truly want it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do I truly want it? Because sometimes we all live in a fantasy world. Oh, everybody has it, so I want it. For that everybody who wants it, their top priority could probably be this. Yours may not even be this. At the end of 3 months, either you would have hit the 3 goals or you would have hit the realization that this is probably not what I truly want.
Right.
That sense of relief itself will give you a lot of freedom.
Okay, but what if when, for example, in your case, you really did want to lose weight or lead a healthier life, but you were unable to do it? You do want it, but it was not manifesting or translating. What do you do when that's the dichotomy?
So there are certain aspects of my life, just like everybody else, I'm also working on. For me, health has been the biggest. So today, I think, for me, this time I told myself, it's not going to be the new year that I'm going to start off with something which pertains to health, but before that, so today is my 14th day of no sugar.
Wow.
So I've been on a specific diet which combats inflammation, which starts working on other things. So my goal is next 3 months I'm going to become the fittest version of me, no matter what. So this time it is not coming from a space of I want to become fit because of XYZ. This time it's coming from a space where I know my body deserves more energy. I know my work deserves more energy and more of me. And for that, I need to be fit.
Right.
And for that, I will do whatever it takes.
Correct. Okay.
So this time, I think is going to be the ultimate time.
Okay. So hopefully in 3 months.
3 months when we meet, I'll be a completely different person.
This also happened with me where, I would say things, I would say something like I am very financially, have been financially independent, which is true.
Yes.
But like a lot of women, I don't know why, it's a stereotype, but I would not look into things like investments because I was just like, I don't get it. But the two are very contradictory to each other.
Yes.
So I think that a shift again started happening in this last quarter where I was like, I can't be so disconnected from something which is so fundamental to who I am. And for the first time ever, I've started taking a step towards even understanding what a portfolio is, how to diversify wealth, what is wealth generation. And it's been such a journey of just joy. I'm not feeling, earlier it would give me like massive anxiety, being like, this is something I just don't understand. But now I'm just like enjoying learning. I'm not putting that much pressure on myself as well.
So the beauty of having a lot of abundance is it gives you so much in your life to experience the beauty of this world. Be it with respect to travel, be it with respect to experiencing anything. Abundance actually is an amazing thing. And what people need to understand and realize is a true essence is abundance. And the universe is constantly expanding. It is not like if one person has X amount of money, another person cannot. There will be opportunities that will come up. When you align with abundance, you start to feel so in tune because when you have a lot of money, everything else is taken care of so that you can sit down and work on what truly matters to you.
Correct. Yeah.
So it makes your life so much more easier.
Yeah. Are there any specific affirmations that you would recommend people do around this process of, say, vision boarding or building what is their priority list, the three things for the new year? So
basically how I do is, depending on the emotions that I want to experience in my life, I write my affirmations accordingly. For example, last year it was more about, I'm an extremely consistent person. I'm very, very articulate. Money flows into my life easily. I am I have this affirmation that says, I am the favorite child of the universe.
Yeah, a lot of people have that, and
Yeah.
it's a very nice thing to feel.
Yeah. So it's there on my vision board. Every morning I'm looking at it, and my husband is looking at me like, what does it even mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care what it means to the world.
Yeah.
I only care what it means to me, because I believe we all live in the same world. But in our minds, we live in different worlds. And my reality is a reflection of what I believe. So I am the favorite child of the universe. If I am the favorite child of the universe, what will a mother give to her favorite child? Everything.
Everything.
The universe gives me everything.
Okay.
So create your own affirmations from the kind of emotion that you want to feel. For example, if for you to be in a great relationship is one thing that you want to accomplish, start telling yourself, I feel so loved and safe and secure and taken care of every single day. People love me for who I am, because I love myself for who I am. The more you create affirmations like this that make you feel expansive, you start to believe in that.
Okay. And let's go towards a deeper conversation on the 5 genres that you mentioned for vision boarding,
Yeah.
right? Let's start with love.
Yeah.
Now, say people want to manifest love, and they're revolving their resolutions around that, right? Which can be in any context. It can be that I want to first of all feel more love towards myself, because a lot of people struggle with giving themselves the love that they pretty much ask of the world.
Yeah.
And that's a very catch-22 situation, because one can't happen without the other.
Yes, yes.
So what would your tips be in order to truly manifest
Yeah.
that relationship?
So the first thing I would say is, you will only attract love and abundance in your life that is directly proportional to how much you love yourself. When we talk about self-love, because there is so much content out there where people talk about self-love is this and that, self-love is none of that. Self-love is your ability to sit with yourself without any distraction. Just sit with yourself, because you accept yourself for who you are. So if you're still struggling to love yourself, I would recommend you answer these questions. First one is, what aspects of myself do I not like about myself? What aspects of myself have I been suppressing all these years? And what aspects of myself am I ashamed of? Because all these 3 contribute to you feeling like you're not good enough, as a result of which you attract people who make you feel like you're not good enough.
Yeah.
So
It's a reflection.
always, it is only a reflection. So once you understand all of this, once you answer all these questions, it is going to take some time. It is going to take a lot of effort, because you've been suppressing parts of you for years together. Now when it comes up and you have to come face to face with that, it is going to be scary. You will want to run away from it. And given the world that we are in right now, the number of distractions is so many. So why do you think we are distracted by anything? So, for example, let's say I'm feeling uncomfortable about something. Instead of sitting and processing that, I can look out for something else that will kind of take away my reality, whatever I'm feeling right now, to something else. So any distraction eventually will become an addiction.
Correct.
So, for example, let's say somebody is feeling emotions of discomfort in their body, because that emotions of discomfort needs to come up for you to come face to face with what you've been suppressing.
Yeah.
Instead of working on that, they start consuming alcohol. They start consuming 30 ml of alcohol. So 30 ml of alcohol in the initial days is more than enough for you to distract from your existing reality and for you to be in a different reality. After a point of time, the threshold hits. The 30 becomes 60, 60 becomes 120, 120 becomes 180, and you still become so addicted, you become so dependent on an external entity, because you don't want to face yourself.
Yeah.
And there was this one very, very beautiful study that was done where they put a rat in a room, okay? And there were 2 glasses of water. One glass of water was plain water, one glass of water was heavily dosed with drugs, cocaine and all of that. When the rat was put inside, 100% of the time, the rat died because of overdose. Now, the scientist created something called a rat park. Rat park is something where there are multiple other rats. There are other things for it to be entertained, for it to do things that it wanted to do. 0% of the rats died because of overdose, because every rat, when it was put in rat park, went and drank the water without drugs in it. So when they actually studied this, they started to understand addiction, yes, does not happen when there is love and connection. When you have people in your life, when you have a great community in your life, when you start working on yourself, when there is something to look forward to in your life, when this itself is giving you a lot of high in your life, you don't seek out for anything else that gives you a lot of high.
Do you think doom scrolling
Absolutely.
is an addiction?
Absolutely. So now what is happening in doom scrolling? So every 30 seconds, our brain gets into a pattern once we do it for enough number of times. Now, I know I have to sit with myself, work on myself. I know all of that. But is the process easy? The process is difficult. But sitting on social media and just scrolling through social media, every 30 seconds, something random is popping up where I don't have to invest my energy. So I end up doing this. Why do I procrastinate? I am procrastinating from doing the actual work, because if I did the actual work, something will change in my life. And I'm so scared to see what the change is. I end up doing what is convenient and easy and end up feeling guilty about myself towards
But
the
it's
end.
also, when you say that there's no energy, of course there's no energy in that context,
Yeah.
but it zaps energy out
Yes.
of you. So, I've just realized that sometimes I'm scrolling and something comes up and it immediately makes me feel bad. Like and it's not necessarily another person. I'm saying that you just stumble upon things without notice
Yeah.
that just kind of like make you feel like, oh my God,
Yeah.
and that's why now I'm constantly actually trying to, even though a huge part of my work is on social media, it's a story I tell myself.
Yes.
Because I actually don't have to be there.
Yes.
If I treat it like work, which is
Yes.
just I need to be there to upload,
Yes.
or the way the team uploads content on our multiple channels, it can just be to that. But why do I need to kind of look at stories,
Yes.
look at the feed?
Yes.
It's just like I'm trying to detach from that, because it's a negative feeling for me.
Yes, there are two things here. First one is social media is designed to keep us addicted to it. There are thousands of scientists, social statisticians, psychologists sitting at the back to make sure they understand how our minds think and how our bodies feel, so that we can stay addicted to this. So us fighting against it is fighting against a huge monster. Rather, if we build systems around it as to what serve us, it becomes way more easier for us to stay away from social media. That is number one. The second thing is, thoughts are the language of the mind and emotions are the language of the body. If your body has gotten addicted to a specific emotion, so for example, let's say in somebody's case, it is guilt. Somebody is naturally and constantly feeling guilty in their body again and again. That emotion sends signals to the brain to do actions that will make them feel guilty. I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody wants to start working out the next day. So they say, okay, tomorrow onwards, I'm going to start working out. Today, I'm going to have this piece of cake, have this pizza, pasta, everything.
Last day of cheat day. Yeah.
So I'm going to do all of this, go to sleep, morning, wake up at 5 o'clock, hit the gym, go to Pilates, do Zumba, do everything. And 5 o'clock, they put the alarm off and go to sleep. They set extreme amounts of tasks for them to do, which they know they will not be able to do because their body wants to get back to guilt. So you have to break your body's addiction to a specific emotion. It can be addiction to the emotion of insecurity, addiction to the emotion of scarcity, addiction to the emotion of guilt. Unless you break this, it's constantly going to keep looping in your brain and your body.
Right. So when it comes to love, which is one of our first
Yes.
resolutions in terms of buckets, what can people do as actionable steps to attract that love?
So first, what I would recommend people do is sit down. This is what I did when I manifested my partner. Sit down and make a list of all the qualities that you want to see in your partner. Just make a list of it. Don't think about it, oh, if I'm making this list, then I'm right, I'm wrong. Nothing. Whatever feels right for you, sit down and make a list of all of that. Once you make a list of all of that, start becoming those qualities. If you want a person who's ambitious, you become the ambitious person. If you want the person to be consistent, you become the consistent person. If you want the person to love you, you start loving yourself first. Once you start doing all of this, your energy starts to raise. Your vibration starts to resonate with the vibration of what you asked for. Once that resonates, then don't think about how will this person come. I'm already in my 30s, I'm already in my 40s. Doesn't matter. You just need that one person who's a vibrational match for you. The universe will create ways to bring that person into your life.
Okay.
So you trust the process, work on yourself, and the most important aspect when it comes to manifesting relationships is start falling in love with yourself for who you are.
Yeah.
Because if you start seeing patterns of you being a completely different person when you're with somebody else, it means you're putting that relationship and the person on a pedestal.
Yeah, because your self-identity is basically lost.
Absolutely. You say, okay, this person is making me feel happy, so this person is doing me a favor by being in this relationship. Nobody is doing anybody a favor.
Yeah.
When you operate from a completely different frequency, you're not being arrogant, but you're being self-assured of who you are.
Yeah.
Once you're self-assured, you'll attract a partner
Who
who
is
will
also, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So make a list of qualities, become those qualities, become the vibrational match, pick things in your life that give you happiness and joy, start going about your life, leave the how to the universe will figure out the how.
So when it comes to resolution setting here, in fact, there should be nothing about the person. It should be about you.
You.
Okay,
Yes.
that's a great
Because
way
you
of
are the
looking.
common denominator.
Yeah.
Because most people think it's the other person. No, you are the common denominator. When you are a magnet, imagine there is a magnet. The magnet has certain magnetic properties. So the magnetic properties attracts ion fillings into its life. So if you don't like the ion fillings it is attracting, picking one by one and throwing it out, it's going to take forever for you. Rather, you flip your properties. Now you become a completely different magnet. All the ion fillings that was attracted to you gets demagnetized and it falls down.
off.
Now you will attract new people, new opportunities in your life.
Okay, that's a great way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about finances
Yeah.
and wealth.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to set resolutions around, say,
Yeah.
working harder or looking for that opportunity or just investing better or doubling wealth, right?
Yeah.
It's like everybody wants a certain lifestyle, especially
Yes.
because of what we were discussing.
Yes.
How is it that people can frame their New Year resolutions around wealth and abundance in a positive light?
Okay. First of all, I think everybody needs to understand attracting money is one of the easiest things to do.
Okay.
It's one of the easiest things to do because money is plain simple energy. When you match its vibration, when you put yourself and money on the same level, you don't put it on a pedestal, when you put it on the same level, you naturally attract opportunities into your life which will make money for you. So now, having said that, the first thing what I have been doing, even from the days I used to be broke, was I had an Excel sheet, now it's a Google sheet, which has all my investments there. It has the money that is coming in every month. It has the investments that are there. What percent of returns am I getting every month? Every day morning, 10 minutes, I'm sitting and looking at it. I did it, like I've been doing it for 8-9 years right now. Recently, I heard one of my mentors speak about how she also does this.
Okay.
And it was quite appalling for me because it's the same for all of us. What happens every day when you keep looking at the kind of money that you're making, the kind of investments that you've done, and what investments are there in the market and what returns it is going to give you, your mind is constantly thinking about, okay, abundance, I can make more money, this is happening, that is happening. So you constantly engage your mind in the things that you want to do. That is number one. And the second thing is, any negative beliefs you have around money, start becoming aware of that. So your life external reality will tell you what your money beliefs are. If you're a person who's constantly investing and money is growing, which means your money beliefs are good. If you're a person who's constantly spending and don't have the ability to save money or invest money, tell yourself, money does not make anybody good or bad. Money only amplifies what we already are. If you're an amazing person, think about, with a lot of money, what all amazing work that you can do in this world. So start reaffirming the beliefs that you have around money. So I grew up pretty much in poverty. It was just slightly above, it was lower middle class. But always, I constantly kept telling me, my life will be very different from my parents' life.
And you used to do this from childhood?
From childhood. I don't know why.
It was inherently in him.
It was always there. My parents, even till date, I live a completely different life. My parents live a completely different life. There's no right or wrong to it. I support them. I take care of them.
I feel that too.
Yeah.
I feel that too.
Yeah.
So I just feel like even though the fundamental base has been the same as a family unit, the way we look and engage with wealth and abundance is drastically different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you have negative connotations about money, and if you constantly speak negatively about people who have a lot of money, you're telling the universe, that is not how I want to be. The universe is not going to give you opportunities.
And this is the thing you hear the most, I think, in Indian households, is money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah.
You have to work very, very hard for every rupee. And these are the kind of conditional statements that build your association with money as you go through life.
It's so wrong, yeah.
And for me, it's very funny because it's just never been a factor. Like I'm just like, it'll come.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very easy.
Yeah.
It's almost an organic process where I'm never too worried.
Yeah.
Like, you know how there are certain people very obsessed कि मुझे जल्दी करना है. I want to get it fast. I want to get it quick. I want to get it in abundance, all at the same time.
Yeah.
But that's never been a thing for me.
See, if you take a look at your life, all of us, right? The areas of a life where we don't pay a lot of attention to are the areas that are already in alignment.
It's in the flow.
Yes.
Okay.
The areas that we're constantly obsessing over are the areas where we need to get back into alignment. See, if it comes to hard work, think about all the house helps that we have. They're amazing. They work the hardest. They have great hearts. They're very good. But the only challenge with them is their beliefs around money and what they believe they deserve.
Yeah.
That is the only problem. They're just like you and me. They're the genius, because every single human that is born in this world is a genius. They have the genius inside of them. But unfortunately, because of the conditioning, because of the society, the brought up and all of that, their belief systems are such that they believe this is what is possible for me. This is what my life is going to look like.
Yeah.
And their energy is low. Because their energy is low, they attract money according to that energy. No fault of theirs. That is why I always say, your limiting beliefs is not your fault, but it is your responsibility to work on it.
Correct.
If you want a completely different life.
Yeah. So now, for those who are watching and say they want to 3x their salary,
Yes.
or 3x the amount that they make,
Yes.
basis their investments.
Yes.
Like you said, it's possible and money is very easy.
Yes.
B, what can their resolution be around to become that person who has a very positive relationship with money?
I would say, as much as it would sound not so rational, start having conversations with money. Just start having conversations with money. Treat money like your friend. Every time you're spending money, just be very happy and tell yourself mentally. Now I don't have the habit of saying this because I've done this enough number of times. It's become a part of
it's part of it.
So when you're spending money, tell yourself, I'm spending this money so that it can come 2x or 3x to me. Because money needs to flow. It cannot be stagnant. It just needs to flow. And every time you're not able to save or invest, ask yourself, what are the disadvantages of me being extremely wealthy? You'll come up with a bunch of disadvantages. And those are the things that are actually stopping you. So once you become aware of your subconscious beliefs, start doing affirmations every single day. Stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself, money flows into my life easily. It's so easy for money to come into my life. I attract opportunities that always gives me abundance of money. And this is what will happen. When people set out for big goals in their life, please be prepared for your existing reality to shake a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the universe cannot give you something without taking away from you what you don't deserve. So if the universe is taking away something from you what you don't deserve, because I've seen this in a couple of clients also, they said, Gayathri, I wanted a lot of money, but I lost my job. The beauty is you lost the job. That had to happen. The change had to happen so that you get the job that gives you what you asked for.
That shake up.
Absolutely. It's extremely important. Most people think hitting the rock bottom is a bad thing. I believe hitting the rock bottom is the best thing, because that is where you start to build your foundation.
That's what J.K. Rowling said.
Yeah, that's where you start to build your foundation.
I made rock bottom the solid foundation
All
which
of us.
I built my life.
If you take a look at all of our lives, the best things were the rock bottoms, because we built very strong foundations and no looking back after that.
Okay, amazing. Let's talk about health. And of course, this is something that you've already spoken about, but if people want to base their resolution around becoming healthier, fitter, having a better association with food, eating cleaner, what can their resolutions be? Because like we said, that gym memberships spike up in Jan and then kind of nobody goes in Feb, like gyms are like back to base, right? So what's the way to have that conversation around your health resolution?
Start building a strong identity. Number one, tell yourself that you're a healthy and a fit person. You'll always make choices that are best for your body and best for your mind. Because now there's so many researchers that have started to talk how, I mean, it's always been there, how your stomach, your gut is your second mind, and most of your feel-good hormones, I mean, feel-good chemicals are secreted from your gut. If your gut is not healthy, unfortunately, because of all these processed foods, I mean, now I believe I can speak about this because I've started taking a completely different road. If you'd asked me to speak about this like 3-4 months back, I don't think I would have spoken because I did not fall under that category. So now, just with cutting out things that does not serve your body, your mind starts to think so sharply and so much better.
You feel agile. Yeah.
You feel better. So as a result of which, whatever you want in your life, think about it. You have great relationships, you have great money, and your health goes for a toss. What's the point of all of this? Your body is the vehicle. Your body is literally the temple that your soul resides in.
Correct.
And even in the path of your soul's awakening or you going through that spiritual awakening, your body needs to be really healthy. So even if you don't do it for anybody else, do it for yourself.
Okay.
Because every time you destroy your body, you're telling the world, you're telling the universe that I don't love myself enough. Because the first form of self-love is to start taking care of your body. Because this is something that's going to be there with you from the time that you're born till the time that you die. So it is yours. So do everything in your capacity to work on this. Number one, create a self-identity around this, saying my health is my first priority, my health is always optimal, and start using affirmations. Every day, do it as a visualization process where the billions of cells that are in your body, look at them being in harmony, being very happy, being very, very healthy. That actually translates energy to them. And make choices. Every day, certain days that it is going to be difficult for you to make healthy choices. But tell yourself, what is my why of doing this? That why will give you that motivation. Because yesterday, I was telling my team also while coming, I was craving for sugar so badly. I was like, no, I'm just going to go pick up something and eat it. Then I told myself, if I did this right now, then what is the difference between me and somebody else? If I'm going to teach people to live their highest version of themselves, I need to be that, no matter how difficult it gets. When the why becomes so strong, the how becomes easier.
Okay. So let's take the example of the 3 typical resolutions that people make and how we would rephrase it basis the identity, right? Our basis working on yourself.
Right.
The first one, I'm going to go to the gym. At least, I mean, every day, every 5-6 days, I'm going to go to the gym.
Right.
What should that resolution look like for people?
For that resolution, first start every morning, stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself, I'm the fit person, I'm in my optimal health, I'm going to do whatever it takes for me to become my best version. Instead of directly signing up for the gym, start running every day for 15-20 minutes. Start doing small workouts for 15-20 minutes. This starts to build a lot of self-trust in you. You start to trust yourself. And after which, when you start hitting the gym, it becomes so much more easier for you. And affirmations work so well in cases like these. Every day you look at yourself and tell yourself, I love myself, you're so fit, you're so healthy. That starts to become who you are. So you can get started with that.
Okay. I'm going to figure out a way to make more money.
Okay.
What can that be?
Okay, just start telling yourself, making money is extremely easy. It does not matter what my family believes in. For me, making money is extremely easy. Once you've done that, no matter how much you're investing, it could be 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 1 lakh, it can be anything. Create a sheet where you can constantly look at that, where you can constantly see your money grow. Once you do that, use affirmations like money grows on trees for me. Money flows into my life easily. I am an abundant person by birth and money is my best friend. Start using affirmations like this. That way you release any resistance that you've created to attract money. And when you want to attract money, the misconception that is there in the world right now is, if I want money, I will get money. No, if you want money, you will get opportunities. I think there is this beautiful quote that says, when you ask God for something, God gives you that, but does not put the worms in your nest, which means God gives you opportunities where in the pursuit of those opportunities, you'll make millions. But don't expect for millions to magically show up in your bank account because it's a fantasy again.
It's what you make of the opportunity.
Absolutely.
What about around love, right? That this year I'm going to be my best version and find the love of my life. How does that translate into a resolution that's actually practical around self-identity?
Right. So first thing I would recommend people to do is every day sit down before you go to sleep and do a self-audit. Ask yourself, where are the situations today in my life where I said a yes to someone when I wanted to say a no, which means you did not draw boundaries, where you were people pleasing, All of these stem from a place where you don't love yourself and you're feeling you're not good enough. So your ultimate goal is not finding the partner. Your ultimate goal is to understand you're enough, you're deserving, and you deserve a great relationship. The minute you touch that belief, I deserve an amazing relationship in my life, the need to be in a relationship vanishes.
Right.
Because you fill your own void. The minute you fill your own void, you attract a person who's going to pour more into that.
Okay. So even in the beginning of this conversation, right, we spoke about consistency being very important, and you had consistency on your vision board because that's something that you really needed to deliver.
Yeah.
Like we said, people fall off their resolutions, and people can also feel a little bit overwhelmed that I have to do 100 things a day, right? Like, do I do vision? Do I look at my vision board? Do I look at my the money map on my computer? Do I do affirmations? Do I do journaling? Do I do meditate? There's like a lot. If you had to give 3 things or 3 steps for people to just be consistent with their priority list that hopefully they've set looking at this episode, what would those 3 things be?
Okay, first of all, before giving that, let me tell you something. All the techniques and practices are only a medium to getting you to believe that you deserve what you want. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
They're not like some magic.
It's not magic. Manifestation is not magic. Every day you look at your vision board, it makes you believe that what you want is what you deserve. Every day when you write your goals, it gives you direction into which direction you're moving into, so your vibration starts to go high. So the 3 things that I would recommend is please get started on your vision board. It's such a fun process to do, and it is life-changing. For everybody who's put out their vision board out there, it has done some magic in their life. Start doing vision board. The second thing is write your goals every day. So this is called goal journaling. Buy a new notebook, make it your goals journal. Every day 2 pages of your goals. 70% of your goals might repeat. It's okay, but don't refer to your previous day while writing it. Just flow in the morning. And I would highly recommend people to do minimum 5 minutes of visualization. And the easiest process for visualization is for you to write down your entire life script. For example, I know what I want to accomplish in my life. And after I've accomplished it in my life, I know how my life is going to look like. Create a story out of it. It can be like, I'm waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm looking so fit in the mirror. My partner is sleeping next to me. We're so head over heels in love with each other. I go to my office. I have a team size of 50 people. Everybody's so inspired. The life that you want to live, write it down as a script. Once you've written it down, record it in your own voice. Once you record it in your own voice with a nice music at the background, every day when you plug it into your ears and just listen to it and visualize it. The beauty of visualization is it makes your body familiar to the emotions of what it will feel like once you've accomplished this. So you're normalizing it. Once you do all of this, every day take inspired action in the direction of all of these things. In the process of taking inspired actions, if you encounter a challenge, this time you're going to look at a challenge as an opportunity and be excited about it, saying, I asked the universe for something amazing. This is the universe's way of giving it to me.
Yeah. Okay, so this has been so amazing in terms of just how to flip that narrative and not be too specific about like, be rigid about the resolution. It's more about this subjective.
More about being.
Yeah.
We are the common denominator. Just every time when you think about why things are not working out for you, think about yourself as a magnet. That's it.
Okay.
When you flip your magnetic properties, what you want also starts to flip.
Okay. So the one question that oftentimes comes up is, it sounds like a lie. When I'm going through the script in my mind, a little part of my voice or that smaller little voice tells me that's not true.
Yes.
And there is a cynical part that's there. Also, there's a lot of cynicism generally around this process. How do you combat that? As the first question. The second is the imposter syndrome, right? Like, I don't deserve it.
Yes.
I've done, say, XYZ to this person. I hurt this person. I don't deserve it. Or like you feel that sense of lack of worth.
Yes.
How do you combat these 2 things when you're in the process of building this new life in the new year?
Okay. The first one is, anytime you start off with new affirmations, it's going to feel like you're doing a mechanical process or it is not going to feel true. Reason being, you have a subconscious belief that is like a monster, okay, which has been saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, and all of that. All of a sudden, you go stand in front of the mirror because you watched this podcast, you did something, and you're going to go start saying, oh, I'm good enough, I love myself. It's going to be like a small little puppy. This monster will consume this puppy in no time. Now you've got to make a choice every single day, irrespective of how it feels, for you to start feeding this puppy till this puppy becomes a monster, and starve this monster till it becomes a puppy, so that this one consume this completely. Initial days. So I always talk about everything in life happens for the highest good. Now I believe it from my being. But there used to be a time 4-5 years back, but I did not even believe in that. The more number of times you repeat that to yourself. So beliefs are nothing but repetition of thoughts and evidences attached to it. So the more number of times you repeat that, you start seeing evidences for that in your reality, it will sink in. Imagine, it has taken years for you to build the beliefs that you have right now. Don't expect for it to change overnight. It is going to take its time. Even in the process of visualization, there is going to be a sense of, oh, will this happen? Oh, will this happen? It's okay. Continue with that. Just every time when you have doubts like that, when I used to do these practices and I was cynical about it, I would go read stories about people who came from absolutely nothing and built an empire for themselves. That was a testimony for me. If they can do it, I can do it. So build a routine where you sit down on internet, because a lot of women come and tell me, I have PCOS, I have PCOD, can I conceive and all of that. I say, there are so many women out there with all of these challenges who have conceived naturally. Go read their stories. What do those stories do to you? It gives you conviction that if it is possible for them, it's possible for you also. Start doing that. Imposter syndrome is something everybody deals with. You deal with that, I deal with that, all of us deal with that. But the question is, how does it impact you? The minute a thought comes into your mind that says, oh, maybe I'm not deserving of this, take a deep breath, let it out, and tell yourself, no, I've worked for this, the universe has been kind, I'm very grateful, I deserve this. Every time when you keep flipping, after a point of time, the thought won't even emerge after.
In fact, I used to aloud say shh.
Yes.
So because I'm like, it just needs to be so aggressive when those voices come in your head. And anybody who's here at Humans of Bombay knows that when the goals are large and it's big, there's a lot of like how and where. Like I was telling you offline about what my vision and my goal is, and I know that it's going to take a lot of work, but I also know that I'm going to be able to do it. Because when that thing comes in my head that it's massive to pull off an operation like this, I'm just like, shh.
Yes.
I'll do it.
Yes.
I'll figure it out.
And every time when you have that kind of a doubt, if it is possible for you, just tell yourself, the very thought that I have this vision means that vision in that energy also wants me. It wants to be manifested in this world through me, and that's why it's been given to me. So I'm deserving of that. I will work towards it. I don't know what will get me to that point, but every day I'm going to put an action that eventually will get me to that point.
How is the domain of the universe? We just need to know our
That's
why.
it. How is not our job, because with our limited awareness and limited intelligence, we can only figure out 10 to 15 hows. The universe has million possibilities of getting that into our life.
Yeah, like Rumi says, what you seek is seeking you.
Always. I just so strongly believe in that. And today morning, I think I was reading that post once again, what you seek is seeking you. It is so comforting, because if there is a strong desire in your heart where you're not able to settle, which means that desire is also seeking you just like this. So it is you letting go of your resistance. It is you flowing through the process and becoming aligned so that you and the desire meet. And when you and the desire meet, it is ecstasy.
Okay. Thank you so much. I've, as always, enjoyed this conversation so much, and I hope that this new year we're able to add value to the lives of people who've been watching, and hopefully help them realign better in terms of their New Year's resolution and just living a better life.
Thank you for having me, Karishma. It feels so good because of the work that you're doing, the kind of questions and the intention behind the questions, because I believe everybody in this world is a genius, and everybody has way too much potential than they believe they have. And when we all tap into that, because you and I, or one or two people in this world alone, cannot raise the consciousness of this planet. Collectively, when we become our best version, when we start working towards our purpose in life, we align with something beyond ourselves and collectively raise the consciousness of this planet, and it's a beautiful world out there after that.
Thank you, and thank you for making it better.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Karishma.
We hope this episode added value to your lives. Join the Realign movement. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next one.